What's up, guys? Welcome to today's episode. On today's podcast, we have Dustin Jackson with EZN and DetailBookie. DetailBookie is a software system for scheduling for your detailing company, and Dustin actually created this system for his own company, and now he has released it to the public. But this episode is not about that. This episode is going to be based on how to build a team. A lot of you guys are just starting out or maybe a couple years into this, and you have questions about how to grow a team, how to build good culture for your team, how to lead a team, and maybe honestly, how to just hire your first employee. Really focus to this, man, because Dustin, he has about 30 full-time employees, maybe even a little more. He's got about 15 full-time detailers. He has multiple other companies. He has an event planning company, a marketing company, the booking software company, and he actually has a detailing company where they do roughly $3,000 every single day, give or take, in details every day. He is a really, really good educator. He actually travels all around America going to all the different events for detailers for his DetailBookie software. And guys, he is just a phenomenal teacher. He's an inspiration to me personally. So I'm looking forward to you guys listening in on this conversation that we did have. You are going to learn so much about how to just lead yourself and how to lead your company, and ultimately how to grow your influence with the people that you lead in your business. So if you get any value out of this episode, if you're on YouTube, please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and put in the comment section at least one thing you learned in this, because we want to hear back from you guys. So if you learned anything from this episode, please leave in the comment section down below at least one thing you learned. And if you're listening to this on the podcast, guys, please take some time whenever you're done detailing or whatever you're doing and just leave us a review. The ratings for these podcasts really make this podcast grow so we can help as many people just like we've helped you today. So with all that said, guys, let's go ahead and hop in today's episode with Dustin Jackson, where we are going to learn how to grow and scale your team so that everyone can succeed. Let's go. What's up, guys? Welcome to today's episode. We have Dustin Jackson from EZN and DetailBookie on the podcast with us. And guys, today we are just going to go over how to build a good team and hiring employees. I had one of you guys reach out to me on Instagram and ask the question about like, hey, Drake, what are good signs for hiring employees, and what are some even red flags? How do you build a team, and how do you structure your company to scale? So in this podcast today, we're going to basically go over all that. So with all that said, Dustin, why don't you just introduce yourself, maybe tell the guys about kind of who you are, what you do, and then we'll just hop right into it.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me on, Drake. I'm excited about this. It's such a fun topic to talk about. It's one that I have a lot of experience with. When I built our detail shop, I knew that I wasn't going to be a owner-operator the whole time, so happy to talk about it. But yeah, I'm Dustin Jackson. I own EZN Storage, Detail, and Retail in Saraland, Alabama. We are a full-service detail shop. We used to be mobile and in-house. Now we're strictly in-house. We came off the road about 6 or 8 months ago. And we have 12 full-time detailers, shop manager, and trainer, full-time trainer now. That's something we'll talk about in a little bit. And then I own DetailBookie, which is a software that we built specifically to run my shop years ago, and then ended up doing so well with it that did so great for my shop that we took it to market, and now we're selling it or leasing it to other detailers. So.
Nice. So, and you built that software specifically for your company, correct?
Yeah, that's right. So I had no intentions of taking it to outside of my shop. I knew that we needed something. We were doing so great detailing, but the business wasn't running, equally. It was, we weren't communicating with our customers. Our pricing was inconsistent. You know the drill. And so we did such good detail work, but our business end was just lacking. And I tried a few other softwares out there that were kind of, they said they could work, but anyways, we retrofitted them. They didn't work. Tried spreadsheets, tried paper tickets. You can see this dry erase board behind me. It's actually 18 feet long, and we used to hang tickets all the way across. It's divided up Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And anyway, so that it wasn't working. So we built the software and to handle all of our scheduling, all of our pricing, all of our estimates, payments, online booking, and it's done phenomenal.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. I've never even asked you this before, but what What actually caused you to want to build your own software? Because I mean, that's not normal stuff. Most people just complain about it and go like,
Right.
well, this is not working. So, life sucks. What made you go like, you know what, dude, screw it. I'm just going to build my own. I'm going to figure it out, because you're not a software developer. You don't know code,
No, I'm not. But it's the kind of person that I am. When I run into a problem, I don't look. I immediately look for solutions, and that's the way I've been my whole life. And I'm not scared to build what I need, and that comes to a building, that comes to software, that comes to whatever that might be. And so software was no different to me. I wasn't scared to go out and find the professional that I would need to help me, and actually missed on the mark. The first guy that I hired, I got 3 estimates. I had a scope of work. I designed out kind of what I wanted. This is what I would see that this software would do for me. And you got to understand, this was 4 years ago, almost 5 years ago now. And so what I wanted was a small piece of what we actually have now. But I had 3 quotes come in. Of course, typical Dustin fashion, chose the cheapest, and $10,000, and it got to the end, 6-month build, and it was a flop, man. It was nothing. There was nothing I could use, but I had already pushed this money into it, so I had to just eat it. I could have quit right then, but I didn't. I went back to the most expensive guy with my tail between my legs and said, hey, this is something that I believe in, because along the way, I hate to say it was a flop, but along the way I saw pieces of things that I needed and was like, okay, this thing can really come together with the right person. This idea does really work. And so I took it to him and said, hey, here's where I'm at. I didn't pick you because I was being cheap, but now I'm back and I really need some help. And Mitch has been with me now for, like I said, going on 5 years. And, I mean, he's full time. He's on full time now. I hired him contract then, but he's on full staff now. So.
Wow. Yeah, dude. And honestly, man, that's so impressive, because I feel like a lot of people, including myself, it's like when you run into an issue, you got 2 options. You can either complain about it or actually do something about it. And dude, it's like with Detail U, it's like that's one of the things, man, that I'm really trying to like push people in is like, dude, when you don't know it, like you don't know what you're doing or you're hitting a roadblock in life, it's like, what can you then do to either fix it or just stop complaining about it and deal with it? Because complaining does nothing. You know what I mean?
That's right. And, I was talking to one of the girls, the front office manager, the other day, and I said, you got to pick the problems that you can control. If you don't control it, then there's no need to talk about it. Like if you can't change it, and it's just an issue, then you just deal with it. But if it's something you can change, then let's talk about what we're going to do to change it. And I don't want to dwell on things. I want to go, what's the problem at hand? What's the quickest solution? And let's go. And that's how we do everything.
Absolutely. It's about executing, because a lot of the times, man, when you let those problems build up in your head and then they just build and build and build, it cripples you. It's like you don't want to do anything. And then before you know it, it's like, oh, well, I'm just going to like shut my company down, or I'm going to do that. It's like, no, dude, like let's get to it and let's fix the issue,
Well, and I'm a problem solver, so like, I think that my position in this company has turned into that for now, is just continuing to solve issues as they come up. And so like all day, and if I sit there and dwell or overthink or overanalyze on any of them, it just gets backed up. There's a backlog of issues. So we quickly solve, answer, fix it the best way we know how, keep moving. Sometimes you get it right, sometimes you get it wrong. But the ones you get wrong, you learn from it. You say, okay, what worked about this, what didn't? And then we take the what did work and we leave what didn't work out. So.
Yeah. Well, hey, and that's exactly it. So I'm glad we had this little discussion, because this will lead us into building a team, because you couldn't build the software on your own, right? I mean, you had to bring in someone else, man. And that's a lot of entrepreneurs or business owners, they think, well, if I want it done right, I got to do it myself. And honestly, that mindset, it cripples people, and that's actually going to stop you from making a lot of money in your life. Now, it is up to you to put the right people in place and to make the right decisions, and sometimes make the wrong decisions, but then you learn from those mistakes. You know what I mean? Yeah. But you also need a team. So that's honestly why I wanted to have you on the podcast today, because you're one of the best guys that I know in the industry, that I personally know. I'm sure there's other guys out there that can run an efficient team, and you've been doing it for years. This isn't like a week-long stint. You're killing it for a month, and you got a little trophy. Like, you're doing it, man. I mean, look at your freaking office, dude. Like, you got a nice little office and everything. So, yeah.
Well,
so, yeah. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
You can go.
No, go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say, man. Like, what is it for? Like, what happened in your mind when you started your business? When did you start your boat detailing business? Or your
it was 10 years ago.
Okay.
We started, so professionally, like actually signing the ground was about 8 years ago, but I was detailing kind of on the side. I think like everybody else in detailing, or a lot of other people. I don't know that you necessarily started this way, but I was always doing my own stuff. Maybe you did.
Yeah.
And I was always detailing my own boats. I always had boats. Did my cars. I was the kind of guy that had the Mustang in the garage, back it out, take everything out of it, detail it top to bottom. Put it back in the garage for another month and do it again.
Cool.
It's just I enjoyed that, and I did that for a long time. I mean, as long as I was driving. And I never could pay anybody to do it. I didn't have the money. And so that's where it started. And then, but it officially, I sold off another business and needed something to get into, basically. And started I had some property, started a storage business, and said, you know what, we'll do some detailing here too. And literally from that day of that decision forward, it's just been, people have been coming in, and it's been growing. And but even then, you mentioned like hiring teams and building teams, and I'm very hands-on, even in my operation. So it's not like I said, okay, I'm this guy that comes in and builds this team, and you all do it. Like, even with my software, I know the ins and outs of it. So, like in detailing, it was me, myself, and a helper for years. And then I hired his brother, and then, we started to build. But, that's just the way that I want to know what I'm asking other people to do, and I want them to know that I'm not scared to do it too.
For sure.
They may can do it better now. But know that I could be right there, right beside you, and in any aspect of it. So.
Yeah, for sure. Well, and that's just good leadership, right? I mean, it's knowing, it's maybe not knowing it fully, but you at least know the ins and outs of it so that you can even relate. And, there's nothing worse than the guy that's like barking orders, and then you're like, dude, you have no idea what my job is even like, like in those big corporate jobs,
Yeah.
So, and I feel like that actually helps build good culture as well in your company. When you're out there getting your hand, I know I've been to your shop before, for a meeting, and you're out there polishing a pontoon with,
Absolutely. Yeah. And then they respect that, they know that you can't really complain about it. And, because I could, I would be out there beside you doing it, but I'm over here doing this other thing so we can be bigger and better. And I talk about this openly. We talk about each other's jobs. We talk about what everybody's doing. So just an example, down at MTE, which is an event that we went to in Orlando, we rented a house, okay, and it has 8 bedrooms, and all the bedrooms are full, but some of the bedrooms have 2 beds. And I tell the girl that does all of our itineraries, I said, you put me in the smallest bed in there. I'll share a room, put me in the smallest bed. Because then no one can complain about their sleeping arrangement, because who are they going to complain to? I've got the smallest bed in the house. Okay, don't
do that
complain
for
to me.
You do that for you, so you don't have to hear the crap.
Well, and so it's like that. It's like that in business, So, like, if you come to me complaining about a problem, just know that I'm going to solve it. But then you see how easy that I dealt with that, and then you're less likely to bring that next time. Say, look, man, he's going to knock this out. Like, it kind of looks ridiculous me bringing this to him, and that's what we built. And I know we're going to get in deeper to this, but we hire strong, man. We hire strong-willed, strong-minded people, and you got to be willing to manage that. But you need people that can make decisions.
Yeah, for sure. Well, dude, I think that was one of the hardest things for. I feel like building a team, the hardest employee to get is usually your first, second, and third employee, because the issue, man, and the most I've ever had under my payroll at one time was 6. And it was hard, dude. I was stressed out of my freaking mind, and I was like 24. Like, I didn't know what the heck I was doing, dude. Like, totally lost, And that's why when someone reached out to me, it was like, "How do you build a team?" I'm like, "Bro, I need to learn just as much as you, brother." So, I know one of the biggest things, man, and I'd love to get your perspective on this, because I know a ton of guys that deal with this, but they're on their own, they're killing it, they're making a good amount of money, and they need help. And the issue is they hire a guy for $15 an hour or $12 an hour or whatever, and that's okay, that's good money. But and I would love your perspective on this, because I've never heard anyone answer this. But how do you get past that? I'm working with you every day. You're in my truck. We're out making money together, but I'm your boss. You're not my friend, but we are friends because we hang out every day. Where does
Absolutely.
that, like, how did you handle that,
I probably didn't do it as right from the start,
Yeah.
and I've done multiple companies like this, but I'm quick to befriend, and I'm quick to take them to lunch with me and buy their lunch and all. But in reality, you got to establish that line of, okay, at the end of the day, I'm responsible for your paycheck and I'm responsible for whatever it is going on, and you set that clear line of expectations. But I didn't do it right to begin with. I think it's hard when it's owner operator than just a helper or something, because it's a real personal connection. But the best thing that you can do is bring them somebody else in there and let them establish that helper, kind of lead man helper mentality with them, and you keep positioning yourself up. So it's okay to change. It's okay to be their buddy when you're working side by side, but no one say, and the whole time being transparent. It's like, look, I'm going to bring you in a helper. I want you to lead this thing, and I'm going to go out and find us more jobs. Or I'm going to go, work on our marketing or whatever. And it's establishing that real quick. But I think in the beginning, it's inevitable that you're going to have that buddy, we working side by side relationship, but being transparent about this is not the future. Like, we're not going to do this forever, and, out in our meetings every morning, I tell these guys, I go around to these training events preaching that you shouldn't want to hang on a polisher the rest of your life. Like, you want to be more than that. And I tell these guys out in my shop, I said, I wouldn't tell them that and not tell you that. I don't want you guys hang on a polisher. I want to open every one of y'all an EZN somewhere, and you go run it. That's what I want you to work. There is no ceiling. There is no max pay here, at our shop. Like, you can come up as high as you want. I want you to take my job so I can go to another job. And so I think establishing that very early in the game is key.
Yeah, and one thing too, man, that I'm building a team right now. I've actually hired on like 3 people in the last month.
Really?
For my Detail U stuff. And because, dude, I just realized I cannot do this on my own. I just simply can't, man. It's getting to be just way too much. But, dude, one thing I've noticed too is one thing I've learned that I will start implementing, and I want to test this out, man, is like telling your guys, like whoever you bring on first, because that first employee is a big deal for a lot of younger guys, It is. When you bring that first guy on, it's like, hey, man, I'm going to train you. That way you can take my job, because I'm out here slinging a buffer all day. I want to actually train you to take my job, and then we're going to hire you a guy that's going to then take your current job. And then once that's done, you are going to train him to take your job. Then we're going to train someone else to take his job. And now you're going to move up into what I'm doing now, running the operations. And dude, it's a constant stepping up and empowering that person to train the other guy, because a lot of the times when you hire that first guy and then you hire a second guy, they're like in competition.
They are.
The older guy's like, well, I've been here freaking longer, and I've been this piece of crap don't even know what he's doing. And it's like, bro, hey, chill out. Let's scale. I want you to train him so that you can then take what I'm doing. You know what I mean? And you can lift up. It's literally working your way out of a job. In a good way, because you're always going to go higher in this company if you're performing well, And
you let them know that opportunity's there. So, and it's a vision. Like, that's how, I get asked all the time, how is everybody so bought in? And it's because they see the vision. Like, I'm not trapping you into the next job. Like, we're going to be so much more than the next job. There's going to be a next 100 jobs, a next 1,000 jobs. There's going to be a next EZN to go run. So that's where you're working, and it's kind of the each one teach one mentality. Until that person can come up and replace you, I can't move you up.
Exactly.
So if you don't know my job, if you can't replace me, and you can't be replaced, then we're stuck. So I have to always be training my managers how to run the show. My managers always have to be teaching the team leaders how to manage. My team leaders need to be teaching the helpers how to be team leaders. And then, everything kind of builds up together. And it does make it easier when you get past that 5, 10, 15, 20, 30 mark. I mean, we went from 25 to 35, and it seems like a blink of an eye. And, we have such good management in place. Like, you don't even really feel like there's 35 people here.
No, yeah, it's crazy, man. And your operation, man, like, I talked to Ryan the other day for the booking software. So when you get DetailBookie, they will literally walk you through an entire demo process and help you set it up. And it's amazing. But so I talked to Ryan the other day, the guy that runs the demos, and dude, I was like, asking him some questions about some affiliate stuff. He's like, oh, hey, you actually got to email this person for that. I was like, okay, no problem. Send me the email. And I was like, hey, I have some questions about y'all's web development because you guys are building websites and stuff now. He's like, oh, yeah, that's actually that department. So now you got to email this person. I'm like, damn, dude, how many freaking people y'all got? I'm like, Dustin's killing it, bro, Yeah. And I'm like, I just see, you tagged me on Instagram. You're doing that Iron Man and stuff. I'm like, damn, I'm exhausted just watching this dude work. But dude, it's fun, man.
I love it. And each thing. So it didn't start out like. So you mentioned building websites, and we do have a whole marketing company now. But it didn't start out like that. Yeah. It started out that I was, my sister-in-law that was working, giving estimates. I was having her come out and take pictures of while we were working and post them. Well, then I realized, okay, how well that worked for us. So I brought in a guy part-time and then knew that, quickly we wanted to build that in. That's what drove our business. Yeah. Well, then I have this, I see this opportunity because now I have 2 or 3, videographer, photographers, production team on. And I'm like, but they're capped. Like, how much marketing does EZN really need? Or how much marketing can DetailBookie, can they pay for it?
Yeah, can they?
I don't know. Yeah. So I say, well, in order for them to not feel maxed out or like, a ceiling there, we have to start a company and start doing it for other businesses. Yeah, because for real. Now we can, there's limitless. And as long as you keep the ceiling out from over everybody, then the potential there and their drive and their vision, they're willing to do extra. And, by the way, it's not a money thing every time. I don't, we pay good salaries, but everything's not money motivated in ours. Yeah. It's about, making sure that we're giving credit where it's due. And when people are solving big problems and doing things, that no one else is doing, it's giving them the credit. I don't take credit for all this. Like, there's a huge team behind me doing big things, and there's no way I could do it without them. No, dude. Yeah. And that's the thing, man. And I think a good leader, because, it's one thing to have employees, and then it's another thing to really be a good leader. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And yesterday, I'm at this ministry school here in Reading right now. And yesterday we were at school, and this kid, dude, I mean, he's kind of a quiet kid, but dude, he had this amazing idea for this little event that we're putting on. And I backed him up. I was like, dude, it's great. Like, let's get everyone involved. It's going to be awesome. And then the leader of our group was like, Drake, that's amazing, dude. You should run with that. Can you head that up? And I just straight up told him no. I was like, no. I was like, dude, that's Aaron. Aaron came up with that idea. He's running with it. And dude, Aaron, his face, bro, lit up like I ain't never seen in my life. Because I'm a natural leader. People see it on my life. They were just like, you run with it. I was like, no. I was like, that's him, dude. Like, he came up with that, Well, and that's big for detailers, even in your business. Yeah. It is. And people gravitate towards people like me and you where like, they just expect you to have, solved the problems, right? Yeah. But when you pass that spotlight on, when you say, hey, here it is, and detailing is the same way, when a customer comes and picks up, it's not, well, look what we've done or I've done. It's like this team, there's been a whole pile of them, and our guys all come out, like especially on a big boat where they're picking up, all of our guys, the boat crew comes out and talks to the customer, and it's interactive, and that's their sense of pride, like that's their work, and that's what detailing's all about. It's a prideful thing in what you've done,
Yeah, for sure. And I've been there too, man, where it's like you have 1 or 2 helpers, you go bang on a boat. And then, when you deliver it to the customer, we were always mobile. So sometimes the customer wouldn't even be there when we finished the job. But then I would go out there and get the tip. I'd get all the praise. And I'm like, I did pretty damn good. And then my guys are like, they don't know that. They don't see that, And it's like, man, you really have to, even when you do a good job and you as the owner of the company, maybe you did buff half the boat and you are the reason why it looks good. But like when the customer gives you the compliment, you go, man, honestly, this guy right here actually killed it because I couldn't do what I do without him. And it really helps build the whole culture as a team because it's not about just me anymore. It's about us and like what we can build, together as a team.
Absolutely. And when you start by yourself, or when you're owner operator, like, the customers are really connected to you, and so it's hard to get that detachment. So when you pass that praise on, you say, okay, just like the other day, I got a long text thanking me about how great of a job we done on our on a truck, and so I immediately screenshotted it and I put the customer, I put my shop manager, I put the the girl that does all of our estimates and pricing together in a group text, and I said, hey, just wanted to pass this on, customer XYZ. Sends his praises, and I put him in this group text, and he's like, he texted me on site. He said, wow. He said, I wasn't expecting you to, I was just telling you y'all had done a good job. I said, I didn't do the job. you know, like that. This is my team, and they need to hear this stuff.
Yeah.
And I do this all day, every day with anything that comes across. I don't hold on anything, and I don't sit on the bad either. Like it's real easy to pat the backs, but you got to be willing to give the criticism too when it's time to fly. You got to be able to tell somebody when they made a mistake. It's not about beating them down or just belittling, but it's an absolute must that you're assertive in that and say, hey, here's the issue, here's what went wrong.
Yeah.
What are we going to do to fix this, or here's what you need to do to fix this.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And I think in the onboarding process, the most like valuable thing that I've been doing lately, and I feel like it's been good because I've had to have some hard talks already with the guys that I brought on, because I mean, it's the real reality. But dude, I'm so straightforward with people. I go, hey, I want you on my team. I believe in what you can do. I've seen your work. Like, I think we're good, but I want you to know that we are both growing together. I'm not perfect. You're not perfect. I want you, if you see things in me, feel free to come to me at any time and let me know. Maybe I spoke to you weird. Maybe I gave you a dirty look. It wasn't me giving you a dirty look. It's just how my face looks sometimes.
It just happens sometimes.
But dude, here's the thing, man. Like little bitternesses, little offenses, dude, fester in little companies, and people start gossiping and oh, this and all that. When really I didn't mean anything by the way I looked, And I'm really open about that kind of stuff with people. And when I tell people, like, look, we're going to have some major wins and we're going to celebrate the heck out of you when we win. But there's also going to be times when you didn't email the person back, when you didn't get the order shipped out on time. Yep. And dude, I'm going to tell you, I will be coming to you in those moments and we will get to the bottom of it. Not to belittle you or anything like that, but it's honestly to mold you and grow you so that we can all succeed in this company, Yeah,
it's a sense of responsibility that they have. And when we take the wins together, we got to take the losses too.
For sure.
And we take them as a whole. And here at our company, it's an open door policy. And we don't let little things fester. If somebody comes to me with an issue, then we're addressing that issue. Like, we're not going to, so we'll sweep it under the rug. No, we're going to address it and we're going to squash it and we're going to move on from it. Like, the worst thing you can have is that, person that's going to listen. Like, if I took it all in and kind of kept it or said something to this other one about it, that stuff starts to get sticky. And
it does.
You just be black and white and deal with things heads up.
Yeah, well, dude, and for me, man, too, like I love helping people. That's why I'm even doing this podcast and stuff. It's like I genuinely love helping people. I mean, the way I look at team members is you are actually a part of my inner circle now.
Absolutely. Because,
I mean, maybe not my full inner circle with my family and my close friends, but you're a part of my life now. So if you're bringing me issues, I'm not going to like that very much. You know what I mean? And quite frankly, I'm in a stage of my life where if you're bringing unnecessary drama in my life, I just simply cannot have it, bro. Like, you have got to go. And look, I love you and I want you to eat, but I just may not want you to eat at my table. You know what I mean?
You got that right. And there's nothing wrong with that. Some people aren't made for each other. And, I think that those things need to be identified quick. And, one of the things that maybe I did, bad early on was hanging on a little too long.
Yeah.
And so finding out quick who's right for the team and who's not. And if they're just a bad mesh, personality wise, cut them out. Let them go, because it can be a plague in the business. Now, I can't tell you how many people I've hired for one position and then found them another position. Like, okay, brought some. I mean, there's 100 different scenarios I can tell you, but you don't just be so married to I hired you to do this thing. You don't do it that great. You're gone. If somebody's showing up and they got the drive and they have the right personality and they mesh well with the team, find them what they're great at and build around that. And so I hate to say the quick to hire, quick to fire mentality, but it's a quick to fire if it's a bad mesh personality wise, or like if it just doesn't fit, then get rid of it. But if there's just something that they fit well, they just don't do that job good enough. Go find what they love and build around that. Yeah,
absolutely, man. And that's like even how you brought on, you when you needed a software, you hired somebody, it didn't work out, but you learn things in that process. And that's the thing.
Absolutely.
With every failure, man, I don't care what in life, as long as you learn something out of it, it's not a failure. It's just a lesson. It's a lesson that you learn, man. And honestly, our failures in life and the hard crap that we've gone through in life is usually what makes us or breaks us, And I posted this on Instagram last night, man, because I was kind of having a hard day and it was just a lot going on, and we have that choice. We can either let hard times either make us or break us, man. And making it looks like, hey, this happened, it sucks. You know, I lost all my money. What did I do wrong? Let's not make that decision again. Or that marketing campaign did not work out as planned. What was wrong? Oh, we hired the cheap video guy. Okay, let's not hire the cheap video guy from now on. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, it's a stepping stone. Each little failure, there's a piece of success in that. And you got to be willing to dig in and find that, because it's not fun every time to really think about what went wrong for something, but you have to. So, like, you know, we did an event here a couple weeks ago, and it was like a ladies' night in our retail store. And the you know, front office manager, she calls me, you know, she's like, gosh, it was a flop, you know, blah, blah, blah. I said, well, let's talk about, I said, okay, it's a flop, but who cares? Like, let's talk about why. What happened? She said, well, we did it on Tuesday night. Probably should have done it on Thursday night. And like, so we start digging into the root of the problem.
Yeah.
I said, okay, well, here's the solution. Next time we'll do it on a Thursday night. Next time we'll put it on the billboard, blah, blah, blah. And now we have an actionable plan on something that didn't work. Who cares if it didn't work? Like, there's going to be a million more that do work. I promise you that.
Yeah.
But we're going to take the pieces that we need out of it, and we're going to go put that as an action plan into the next thing we do.
Yeah.
Instead of sitting here going, God, I wish I would have had 1,000 customers in the store last Tuesday night. Like, it doesn't matter to me. We're going to have 1,000 eventually anyway. So like, it's just, you got to get to that point. Yeah.
Amen, dude. And here's the thing. It's like right now, I can almost hear it like guys going, well, guys, that's cool. You're sitting in a big fancy office, Drake. You're in some little studio with cool lights and a microphone.
Right.
I'm struggling right now. I'm 22 years old and I need help, and I'm dying in the sun every day. I don't have time to just vet people. Like, I need someone now. And dude, the real reality of it is if you're in that situation, you've already messed up. You've messed up because you've waited to the very last minute to actually get help. And that's okay. Now we've actually discovered the issue. The issue is waiting too long, because when you get desperate and now you just need the boats out the door, now you don't even have time to train. Now you don't have time to even be patient, and now you start getting pissed off because they missed a spot in the compartment because you're behind on boats, and you live this chaotic lifestyle. And dude, like, I've did that for years. So you want to know how I know all about this crap is because I did it. You know, we've all done it to a point, you know. We just get a little more sophisticated in our dysfunctions.
Yeah, the only reason we can speak on this is because we have the bad experiences. Like, listen, like, this doesn't, I didn't wake up yesterday and go, oh, you know what, we have it all figured out. We're going to hire all these people. Like, we started with myself and then a helper and worked our way through. I mean, there's been 1,000 things that didn't work out here. You know, we just keep focusing on what did work. And, you know, listen, it's hard to make decisions with your back against the wall. And you really have to, you know, separate yourself from all the things that could happen. And you say, okay, I got to get 100 boats out. I'm not going to get 100 boats out today. So I can't think about the other 99. Today's problem is one boat. Yeah. And then what can I do to help get this one boat done faster? Can it bring? I can't do 100 today. So might as well not even think about 99. And it's a mindset. And then there's another thing that needs to be brought up is, you know, just because you put business owner or entrepreneur behind your name doesn't mean you're really willing to do what it takes to get to that point. So it's easy to complain, but you might be just a good manager or a good employee for somebody because you got at 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock when your day's over, your work day's over, you're just getting started. And that's when you work on the training. That's when you work on the phone calls to, hey man, I need some help tomorrow. It doesn't happen, you know, while you're working there. Sometimes you've got to do it after hours, and it's more times than not. And I hate to preach about that too much because it's like, you know, everybody's like work-life balance. You know, you can make time for that. If you spend an hour or 2 hours with the family, you know, dedicated to them, but you got another, you know, 16 hours a day that you can work with, and you can only work so much on a boat, and then you got to come in and you got to work on your business.
Yeah, for sure. Well, and that's so I just filmed a podcast yesterday. I think it'll be like episode 4 or 5 whenever I launch these. But dude, it's specifically on working like on your business and not necessarily in your business. Have you ever read the book, The E-Myth by, I think it's Michael Gerber or something like that? It's called The E-Myth. Dude, you should read it because it's literally all about what you're doing and like wanting to build franchises and working on systems and getting systems in place so that it can be duplicated. But it's absolutely amazing book. It's kind of like a business classic. And that's what I made the podcast on, was like developing systems, developing ways of doing your business. That way you could then step out completely if you ever had to, and your company could run itself. You know, that's one thing, like whenever you come to the training classes that we do, you know, whenever you come and talk, you always tell the guys like, hey, I'm here talking to you guys, cutting it up, training, while my detail shop is making $3,000 today. Like, dude, that's impressive, because I know when I was 22, one, I couldn't even fathom $3,000 in a single day, and two, dude, if I didn't go out to work that day, I wasn't gonna eat that weekend. You know, it was like, dude, because I was so struggling to make money and just cash deals and undercutting myself because I was so hectic in life. And man, I feel like when I was younger, I had the mentality of like, oh, they're older, they're wiser. Like, so yes, naturally they figured it out. But really, man, what it is that these guys went through the hard crap at 22, like myself, went through the hard crap. And then we go, ooh, that hurt. I don't want to touch it. It's like the hot stove. You touch it once and you go, damn, that was hot. I don't want to do that again, you know? And you might touch it accidentally a couple times in your life. But of course, it's learning those lessons, man, and moving forward. And one of those for me, when I was starting, man, was just I did not do everything that we're talking about here. So, and I feel like in this conversation is even going a lot different than I even pictured in my mind, which is good. Sure. But, you know, I never took inventory of what happened. I would just hire these riffraff guys off Craigslist, and then I'd wonder why they wouldn't pan out. And it's because
just deal with it.
Yeah, and it was just, but I would always blame them. I would never look at myself. You know, I would always be like, oh, they're addicted to drugs or they suck, and you know, but I never went, bro, maybe it's the way I'm talking to people. Maybe it's how I put so much demand on these guys, and I'm trying to like 1099 them because I don't want to pay taxes, and you know, all this stuff. And you build a reputation of not being like super legit, you know, and I tell my guys, I'm like, look, if you want to hire a good employee, one, you got to pay a little more, you know, $9 an hour ain't going to cut it. You probably got to start around 12 to 15-ish, depending on your market, you know, because the more you pay, you're going to attract a higher quality person, you know, just being totally real. Absolutely. And then after that, as you're the leader, it is your freaking job to create them and mold them into the person that you want. And before you do that, you have to learn how to do that to your own dang self. You know, and so dude, it's when you take this stuff serious, it turns into I just need help, you know, it turns from I just need help, I just need good employees to I have got to create a person. I have to create systems. And that's what I want for anyone listening right now, is to think higher. You know, think abundance, think wealthy mindset. Donald Trump did not make $1 billion on his own. He's got thousands and thousands and thousands of people backing him, advising him, reporting to him. And that's the thing, guys. So if you're, you know, listening to this and you're 21, 22, 23, or 45, and you're in that position of life where it's like, man, I'm making money, I'm doing really well, but I want to take my business to the next level. Guys, in order to get to that, you're actually going to have to take yourself to the next level. And I want to transition into that, Dustin, because I know you and I both, that's one thing that we really love about, you know, is mental health, physical health, big time. And growing ourselves, because if we can't lead ourselves, we're never going to lead others. And so, dude, yeah, let's talk about that. And actually, I would love to even talk about like your little Iron Man thing you got going on. And I say little, it's
that's okay.
Your little Iron Man thing.
Yeah, this little thing we're doing.
But you know, it was, dude. So like, talk about like, what's the reality of, even if you're only at one employee and you're 23, how important is it to actually grow yourself so that you can grow a business?
It's everything. You know, that's when you start. You don't wait till you don't wake up and all this be here and then go, oh, I should fix myself. The reason we get to this point is because you're fixing yourself all along the way. You know, you're learning along with them. And in order to teach somebody, you really got to understand things yourself. And you don't just wake up with this knowledge. Like, that's what I think people think of overnight success, or you just, you know, like at 21, or, you know, when I was young, I mean, right behind me is a business license when I was 14 years old. I've been doing this a long time. I've been messing up a long time. So you can see it right there. That's the business license, 14. And so, you know, like, so you know, to better yourself, and it never stops. I'm constantly reading. One of the best things I've done, and I did it about a year and a half ago, I think, is I did the 75 Hard Challenge.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
I didn't know that.
Yes, and it's great. It's I knew
Andy Frisella.
Andy Frisella, thank you. And you know, and I was listening to his podcast, and I said, you know what, I'm going to do this thing, and I'm the kind of person, when I set my mind to something, it's getting done.
Yeah.
And so I just started one day, and I said, today's the day. Downloaded the app, $2.99, boom, and started day one. Ran it all the way through to day 75. Now, in that thing, you know, there's no drinking. There's a read 10 pages every day. There's you got to work out twice a day. One of them has to be outside, no matter the weather. Okay, I ran during a hurricane. I promise you, I did. You know,
hey, don't you feel like a badass though? Like don't yes. Like when you're outside running so and it's storming. Bro, you feel like you're doing things that no one else is doing. I'm telling you, my favorite time to run, dude. Exactly, because you are, and it's weird, but you're actually like, in order to be successful, you have to do stuff that other people aren't doing. And quite frankly, running in a hurricane is one of those things.
It is. I mean, like seriously, I was running this morning, and it's 30, you know, it's 31 degrees, and your breath, you can just see it coming over you.
Yeah.
And that's just when you feel real. But those are the things you got to do. So, like, you know, running a business and growing your business young, starting out small, or, you know, wherever you're at age-wise, there's not a book that you open up and says page 37, this is what you do. You start bettering yourself. 75 Hard was a monumental change for me, because it taught me that, you know, there's really nothing that I can't do if I don't put my mind to it. Before, I kind of always had that feeling like anything I wanted to do, I could just do. Mm-hmm. But this showed me, like, okay, these are things that people struggle with, but as soon as I made the decision, like, I was willing to go do it. Those things like that are what move the needle the most, and you do those on your own time. You don't do that from 8 to 5 or 9 to 5.
No.
You do that from 5 to 9, okay?
Yeah.
You know, and I'm sorry.
There you go.
And so that's what these guys, you know, that's what anybody listening has to understand, is you've got to work on yourself as much as you're working on your business and in your business. So it's you know, you have to develop along with this and then teach behind you, you know, be that words of encouragement as you're bringing on. Yeah,
for sure. And here's the thing, man, it's that when you live a lifestyle of bettering yourself, then you train, or you naturally bring the others with you, okay, is what I'm trying to say. So now, I don't know about you, but I do this with my guys and really my close friends is, dude, I'm listening to a motivational speech in the morning because I need something to keep me going, and I'm like, dude, this is badass, so I literally
passing it along.
I literally send it to like all my buddies. Bro, every single morning I have at least 3 or 4 friends that I'm sending at least a Gary V podcast to, an Andy Frisella one, Ed Milet is another amazing guy. You know, I'm like constantly just little super cheesy motivational stuff like, I will, I must, I can.
You know? I can't, yeah.
Bro, I'm into it all, baby.
Dude, you get me fired up. No, I'm the same way. What's funny now, so I used to be the person that sent all those out, right? Well, now they're all coming to me. It's so weird how it's transitioned. And so now my phone from 4:15 or 4 o'clock when I wake up till 8 or 9, it's like, you know, depending on where they're at and the time zones, they're like these just motivational stuff just hit my phone.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you know, it's a whole wave. It's a whole thing. And people understand that that's what drives them. They know it drives me. And it just, I mean, it's fun stuff. It's fun to listen to that rather than scroll up and down Facebook. You know,
oh my God, yeah.
This stuff is so much better for you, and you feel so, like when you scroll Facebook for 30 minutes unproductive, you feel bad. Like you just feel like gross.
Yeah.
If you listen to, you can go to YouTube, type in Motiversity, okay? Like literally, and there's you can't watch all of them 100 times. Like, dude, it's impossible. And so, like, to listen to that, man, it's just inspiring. And dude, I force that into my head every morning. That's what I do, and it's a mindset. And I hit the day running, literally.
Yeah, for sure, man. And the reality, man, is like if you're younger and you have one guy with you, when you're listening to that stuff, man, you're gonna influence him. And what I want young leaders, and you know, and I'm one of those. You know, I'm only 28, so I'm still pretty young too. How old are you? 35, right?
37.
37. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So I mean, you're still relatively young as well. You know, and it's like, man, it's when we're growing with our people and our companies, it's now we take the focus off of, hey, go scrub this compartment, versus, hey, let's grow together, man. When there's nothing better in the world when you hire someone. I just hired a kid, man. He's absolutely amazing. But bro, he was homeless. He was straight up homeless 3 months ago. And he's had a big encounter. It's a whole story I won't get into, but he had a big encounter with God, and he's turning his life around. Well, dude, I just took him under my wing, and I was like, bro, you want to help me? I need help. Like, he knows nothing. He knows zero about detailing. And I'm like, dude, are you hungry? Yes, you're hungry? Good, I can help you. And, dude, I bring him on, and, dude, so I'm sending him the motivational stuff. Dude, he just called me the other day. He's like, bro, I've never been so fired up in my life. I'm ready to go. I'm gonna, like, can I start working out with you in the morning? And I was like, no, you can't work out with me because that's my sacred time.
That's my time. Yeah.
But I told him, I was like, look, dude, you need to get your time. What does that look like for you? Wake up at 6:30 and go for a 1 mile run every morning for a month. Like, it's 1 mile. It's not going to kill you. Don't even run it. Walk it. Do it every day. Every single day.
Do something consistently.
Yeah. Consistently every day, man. And people don't, and even I don't fully realize how impactful that is, man. And now this kid was homeless 3 months ago, and dude, now we're developing like call systems. We're gonna start cold calling people, bro. We're going ham. You know what I mean? And it's to serve people, man, and it's to help people. You know, like that's what it is for me. It's not even about making a bunch of money, man. It's about impacting this guy's life. And dude, who's to say from what you do with your life, that guy helping you. You know, here's the thing, guys. At the end of the day, we're not going to be most people aren't going to be in the boat detailing industry for the rest of their life, right? I mean, most people, you know, maybe you and I because we're growing, but most guys that come and go, they're not going to be in it. But what you can do, man, is you can implement systems and you can influence these people the best you possibly can to set them up for success in whatever they do in life. And they might stick with you for 10 years or they might not, you know.
Absolutely. You know, and I think you bring up a good point. You know, it's not, even though this is about detailing and we run detailing businesses and we build detailing businesses, okay, it's about building and empowering people. And, you know, if you start there and you start with people that just want to work, they need to work, they got the drive, you know, it's about their personality. We could teach them anything. And the fact that, listen, I'm telling them all the time, you're not hanging on a polisher all your life. So let's learn this. Let's build this process in and be prepared to teach the next person, because that's not what you're going to do. And when you show them that, when you show them that there's more to this, then now they are looking out past that. Now they're looking, okay, man, I can change this thing in my life. I can change that in my life. And I can just come up with this thing instead of watch something be built. And,
for sure.
You know, you mentioned the consistency in doing these things. It always goes back to that self-discipline. And, you know, the way that I look at that is like, that's true inner love. Like, if you're disciplined enough to do things consistently, like, that's true fulfillment. And that's what makes me feel great. And, like, that's kind of how, you know, that's where all that comes from. Absolutely,
man. And dude, my wife, she doesn't even understand it, you know, and, you know, she'll be like, hey, you need to rest, which there's times where I do have to rest because I'm a 1,000 miles an hour kind of guy, you know, and so are you. So it's like sometimes you're like, bro, I do need to chill a little bit. But for the most part, man, when I do my runs and I work out, that is actually what gives me my energy. Like most people go, dude, how do you have the energy to do that? I'm like, how do I have the energy not to do that? Like, I have to do that. Is actually what feeds me. That's actually what keeps me going. Does that kind of do the same for you?
Yeah, I don't have the energy without that. If I don't do my workout, or if I don't train in the mornings before
I'm depressed.
Work, dude, it's like I show up, I'm off kilter. Yeah. If I go run, you know, we ran 4 miles this morning. If I go run, which is a short run, if we go, like, it's head clearing, it's my time. Then I come in an hour before the first person shows up to my shop. So I'm here 1 hour before the very first person enters the building. I can decompress. I've done my run. I'm feeling good. I'm going through my morning routine. I have a very strict morning routine. And, you know, then people show up and I'm ready to face that. If I roll out of bed and throw on my clothes and come up here, now I've got to start solving problems for everybody. Dude, that's a tailspin, you know?
Yeah.
And I don't have the energy for that without the other.
Yeah, man. And honestly, that builds into self-confidence. You know, self-confidence comes from just keeping promises to yourself. When you tell yourself you're going to do it, go do it. And that, like, a lot of people are like, man, I don't have confidence. So it's like, hey, when's the last time you told yourself you're going to do something? When's the last time you said, hey, I'm not going to drink a beer tonight after work? And you actually did it.
And you did,
dude.
Yeah.
I mean, dude, let's keep it simple. Most, you know, I know a lot of guys, you know, drink a couple beers every night after work or whatever. If that's what you do, cool. But why don't, instead of drinking 2 beers, you drink 1 beer tonight? Just start something simple, man. Start somewhere. And that's the thing, man. I think just starting, dude, and like I said, dude, whenever we, at the end of the day, we're running detailing companies, but really it's about people. You know, I feel like that's our whole lives. You know, obviously I'm a Christian. You know, you are too. And it's like, man, like Jesus came to serve people. He came to save people. And it's like, at the end of the day, man, we're here to influence people, grow companies, and just make a bunch of money along the way, you know?
Yeah, and so I was on a podcast the other day, and they asked me, well, what is success to you? And, you know, it was it's such an easy thing for me. Success is not money in the bank. Success is everybody around me doing better than they were when I found them.
Wow.
And
Amen.
whether that's with us or even outside of us, if we train somebody and they've gone a separate way or whatever, and I love to see their story after that. But success to me is taking everybody that's around me and just bringing them up.
Yeah,
and that feels good. And it's selfish in itself because, like, in reality, like, that's where I get my pride from, is to watch everybody else. And what, you know, like, you know, we brought this person in, just like you said, homeless. I've hired a homeless guy. You know, brought him in and invested in him and spent time on him and, you know, like, just been there. And it's really kind of a selfish thing, because I don't think you're doing it more for yourself than you're doing it for them, because that's where our pride is. But that's what it means to me. That's what success is all about. It has nothing to do with money in the bank. I don't care. Yeah. Like, I don't even know how much money's in my checking account. And this is like, I manage my businesses through our P&L. That means our income versus our expenses. Yeah. And if we're making money, great. But I don't know how much money I have in the bank. I don't care. That's somebody else's job to keep up with. And and I want to know that everybody here is making more money than they did when they started. Or I want to know that everybody here's got a nice house and or you know, on their way to that, or buying a car that they've been wanting. You know, that's what I want to see.
Yeah, man. And it's like, it's, you know, as far as like being a Christian, you know, that's exactly what Jesus did. If you look at his life, man, he took 12 ordinary guys, you know what I mean, fishermen, and he literally took those 12 guys, and those 12 guys changed the world. And we're still talking about them to this day on this podcast. You know what I mean? Like, and dude, honestly, that's how we should run our companies. You take some employees, and dude, we mold them, we grow. If you read the Bible, it's all about God, Jesus shaping his disciples. Hey, don't do that. Hey, you're amazing. Hey, get behind me, Satan. Like, you know, he's like, he's molding them the whole time, man. And like, that's what it's about, man. It's about growing people and, you know, growing your business in the process. So, man, I want to hit a couple of these questions kind of along, you know, I love where this conversation went, and I think people are going to get a ton of value out of this, man. But what are some good signs, man? We'll have about another 10 minutes. What are some good signs for when you're hiring? Just practicals, like when you're getting a candidate, like what are some, like, hey, this is good signs, and like, hey, ooh, that's a red flag. Yeah,
must for me are showing up on time. Like showing up on time. That could not be, probably that's the biggest one for me. First of all, we have a very strict policy at my shop. If we you know, our meeting's at 7:30. If you're not there at 7:30, you go home for the day. Period. Wow. Okay, and so that it starts with that, because it takes zero skill and effort to get to somewhere on time. Literally, it's just natural. So being there on time is like crucial to me. We could just about work with anything else, and it's just that
if you
drive,
just show up.
Yeah, just be here, you
dude,
know.
But that's a big thing, dude. Because how many people have you hired that can't show the heck up when you tell them to?
Oh, it's
unreal.
It's huge. Yeah, probably 50%. You know, and that's what people don't understand is we have a team of 30. We probably hired 3,000 to get 30.
Yeah,
okay,
ooh, wow. Yeah,
so it's not, you don't just you know, like, you got to get through them, and you know, some are going to work, some aren't, and you keep that core group that is. So definitely, you know, red flag for me is someone that doesn't show up, someone that doesn't answer the phone. Like, if they've turned in an application, we call them, they don't answer the phone. I'm not, hey, you know, you're out. Because,
I'm not chasing you.
You know, no, like, you know, you need the job if this is something you need. You know, find people that need to work, not that want to, not, you know, but somebody that needs to work. Those are the ones that are driven, that have families. That first thing I asked, you got any kids? They live with you? You are you responsible for them? Yes, absolutely. Okay, now we're going in the right direction, because now I know you got to work. Now I know you want to do things. So.
What about the red flag of like not having a driver's license or a car? Like, does that affect your decision on as far as hiring them?
Nope. No, because listen, here's the thing: there's so many situations that lead into those things. I can't control what their past looks like. All I control is the here and now, and I want to help you. You know, I want to help you. Look, I got a lot of people that come from a lot of different directions to get to work every day. Amen. And there's a lot of them that carpool. They'll stop by and pick you up. Don't call me about a car being broke down, because we will send somebody to pick you up. Like, that's not an excuse. And so those things, situations, even the history of jail and drugs or things like that, like those things do not bother me. I do not read into that stuff. I'm the here and now. I want to know you. I want to see you eye to eye, and I want to talk to you, and we will surround you, and we will make you a better person. Yeah. So, you know, really the red flags to me are just the that lackadaisiness attitude. Like, you just can't, like that, like chill, nothing's really important to them.
Yeah,
that's like that's the quickest turn off to me. Is like, okay, because I need you to show up and say, I don't care where you put me, I'm going to be the best at that thing. You know, if I'm sweeping the floors, I'm going to be the best floor sweeper there ever was. And you give me that attitude, and I will build a kingdom around you. You know.
Yeah, for real. And dude, that's like Andy Frisella with the 75 Hard. Like that's how he's built his whole business. Like I've listened to his podcast for years, dude. And like I listened to it like probably 5 years ago when he first started. Yeah. You know, and that's one of his biggest things is like, bro, when you sweep the floor, sweep it better than anyone else. You know, wipe the freaking piss off the toilet seat whenever you sprinkle a little bit on there. Dude, to this day, I do that. Like, I will not leave a toilet seat with pee on it, dude. And that's because of Andy Frisella. And so it's like, dude, it's those little bitty things that we teach people that actually bring, you know, it brings structure in their lives. It brings disciplines in their lives, man. And so that was the best answer I've ever heard. Like, because I've asked a few people that as far as that, because at the end of the day, dude, if I would have got busted for half the crap I've done in my life, bro, I wouldn't have no driver's license. I wouldn't have no car. I've just been lucky enough to hide it.
Yeah, I was just smarter to get away with it. Like, you know, like, so, you know, there was like, you know, we've all have a past. We all have things. And so, like, to judge someone because now we're in a different place or we figured some things out is so, like, counterproductive to what we want to do. Like, my job is to go find that person that was me 20 years or 10 years ago, 15 years ago, and go, hey, you know, wake up, dude. I'm going to show you the light here because I've been there. And not to hold that over your head like I have this piece of information on you and you know, I don't think you're going to work out for it. No, man. Dude, come on in here and let's surround you. Let me put you around good people, and we're going to have fun doing it too.
Yeah, for sure. So with this in mind, so say we hire somebody, they've been working for us for 6 months, and then they start dropping the ball here and there. What is your correction process like, as far as like how do we fix these little issues, and then what is your firing process?
Yeah, it's all about accountability, and it's you don't wait and let things build up. You handle them right then and there, and you know, knock it right out. And you know, listen, as far as as far as to get fired from here, it's really got to be like blatant. Like, you know, I hate to even say this because it doesn't happen, but like steal something or like
doing cocaine in the bathroom, you know,
right? You know, very and literally, so those things have happened before, and that's an absolute like fireable. You know, like, you know, get out of here, dude. But like, you know, like burning a rub rail or you know, sanding through some clear coat or polishing through, you know, burning an edge. Those things are going to happen. That's not a fireable offense. That's like that's a teaching moment that somebody, if they're not messing up, they're not working. You know, they're not working. Like, seriously, if something's not getting messed up around here, that's because nothing's getting done. Yeah. And so that's the way I do it. But like, you know, just the obvious things, like if somebody's, you know, just blatantly tearing things up or damaging to, like, just doing stupid stuff, like, you know, if you can't coach it out of them a little bit along the way, just go ahead and let go of them. And you know, the process is bring them in here, and like it's you know, we're all on trial every day. Like, it's not like this probationary period or blah blah blah. Look, dude, if you're ridiculous and you don't work, you're out. Like, I don't care about those things. And you know, I don't make no bones about it. Like, I'm very black and white. I'll coach them. I'll you know, pat them on the back when they're doing good, but I'll let you know when you're not. So
yeah, well, and dude, and I think, man, when you have a culture in your business where it's actually okay to make mistakes, dude, that is massive for companies. Because how many people, I mean, you've probably worked for people or, you know, just been involved with people where it's like you're so pressured to get it perfect, and the second you make a mistake, you're going to get fired. Dude, that is like, I don't care who you are, you can never perform at your best capabilities. And man, the best part, you know, it's when you allow people to make mistakes, and like burning through gel coat, because that's happened to me tons of times, and I've done it right, and I've handled it way wrong. Handling it way wrong looks like getting pissed at them, going, dude, what the hell are you thinking? Like, you're not supposed to run the machine that fast. What are you doing? Right. And then you take them off of the buffer for a week, and you're like, you know, go back to just washing the and dude, or you fire them if they did a big mistake, which I've done too in the past. Like, someone broke a like a fish finder, and because I wasn't talking to them about a bunch of other stuff, I just got pissed off and was like, you know, you're out of here. Yeah. And the issue is now that every new person that I have to train, I then have to say, hey, man, look out for the fish finder, you know, because that little cord will get wrapped up in a rotary quick. And dude, it's happened time and time again. And here's the thing. It's like touching the hot stove. When someone wraps up a freaking cord around their neck or wraps up something, they go, holy crap, now I know not to do that again. Yes, you do. That sucks, right? Yes, it does. All right, let's not do that again.
That's right.
And then you just move on, dude. Yeah.
The reason we know is because we've done it ourselves. And,
absolutely.
I preach this all the time. Like none of us are perfect. Like the only reason you know not to do it is because you've done it and you messed it up. Okay.
Yeah.
Like, so why wouldn't you allow that to, obviously you want to teach them and coach them and try for it not to happen, but you're not going to cover everything with every person. They're going to have to find out things along the way. And you sure don't fire them because you didn't fire yourself when you did it. So why would you do that? Now, if it was a repetitive thing, like every boat he touches, he's just reckless and he's doing it and almost intentional, dude, you got to go.
Yeah. Or it's, hey, bro, like the rotary is just not your gifting. Are you good at like internet marketing? Like, could you be a cameraman for me? Would you get some promo shots of me shooting? And he's like, yeah, I can maybe do that. And then, dude, so like that's
find out he's great at it.
And he's great at it, dude. And that's actually happened to me, and maybe not even great, but he's good enough, where now you hired him to buff a boat and he can't do that, but now he can be a cameraman. So now you then turn him into your full-time camera guy that you make marketing content and you make Facebook ads with that content. And now you're making more money because of this guy. So like, that's what I think you said it earlier in the conversation of like, even if you don't work out in this particular job, we can find something for you. You know what I mean?
I cannot tell you how many times that's happened around my shop.
Yeah.
Like, I can't, like, that's how we built a lot of the things that we built, is by identifying that someone's just not great at this thing that we hired them for. But let's put them over here and see, and we will really kind of move them around until we find something. Because if they're showing up on time and they have the drive, dude, it's hard to find that. It's hard to find that. So you better keep it around and see what they're good at and see if you can't build around that.
Yeah, for sure, man. Well, just to kind of close out this this conversation, what is I know this whole conversation's kind of been wrapped up in this question, but I think it would be just a valuable question for people to hear. So what is something that you wish you knew when you were like 21, 22, 23 that you know to be true right now? Like, if you could go back and say, dude, if I would have just known this one thing, it would have saved me so much time, so much money. What do you think that would be?
This is an easy one for me because it took me a long time to figure it out, is don't think that anybody's not replaceable. It's easy, especially after you hire one or two or three and you really got a good team going. You're like, I can't imagine life back the way it was, or if this guy leaves me, I'm in real trouble. I promise you, because I've been through a lot of the people that I didn't think could ever leave me, and we've only get better from there. It's not fun, but I promise you, when one door closes, another one opens, and God's real good about doing that for us.
Amen.
And I promise you that if that person leaves you, or if you find yourself in a situation where you have to let them go ahead and do it. It may change what you're doing for the next week or two, where you're stepping back into that role. But I promise you, either the next person behind him will step up, him or her will step up, or someone will come walking through the door and it'll be life changing. So that was the biggest thing, and it took me a long time to figure out, because I'd really hold on to people and probably pay them more than I should, and probably bend more rules than I was willing to bend, because I'm like, I just can't get rid of this person. But in reality, where one can do something, there's probably another 1,000 that can as well. And you just have to, you're not going to find that person if you already have it. So if it's not working out, be willing to let go so that next person can either step in or step up. So that's good, huge for me.
Yeah, for sure. And I think along with that too, man, it's just believing in your team. You know what I mean? It's like, hey, like not all the weight has to be on one guy's shoulders. And when he leaves, sometimes it can feel like, oh crap, what do I do? And then like you said, it's, well, hey, this is happening. It happened. If either they left or got fired or whatever, whatever happened. And it's like, hey guys, what are we going to do? Are we just going to complain about it, or are we all going to step up and do our part? You know what I mean?
And people do that. People will step up. Like, when you've built a culture around that, it's like nothing's going to change. Like, we're not just willing to, we're not going to lay down and die because someone, left us or quit or whatever. So we surround that, we fix it, and we move on. And that was the biggest thing. I mean, I held on to a lot early on, a lot longer than I should, for fear of I couldn't keep going without.
Yeah, and I think one of the biggest things too, even kind of along those lines, is most young guys, when they hire somebody, they always have that thing in the back of their head of going, if I train this guy with everything I know, is he going to leave me and start his own business? How did you kind of handle that, like, early on?
Oh man, so here's the thing: is first of all, if I've trained you that well, then great. But then I've done my job. Listen. Everybody here should be able to leave here and go run a business. The reality is they're not going to. I'm sure there's been people that have left me and gone and attempted at it, but we're just getting better every day. And so it's really hard to compete at that level as a one-man show. Are you going to come take first of all, have I done a great job with my customer relations if someone can leave me and then go take my customer base? Yeah, that's not happening.
Yeah, amen, dude. So that I kind of was tossing that up for you to see where you'd hit it, because that's what I tell people all the time, man. I've been doing some coaching calls and stuff with some companies, and I tell people, I'm like, look, if you're afraid that if you hire somebody and they're just gonna leave you and take over your business, that says a lot about your business. Your business is not strong enough. If somebody that knows nothing, you've been doing this for 4 or 5 years, maybe even 2 or 3 years, you're 3 years down the road and you hire someone, you train them, and they can leave and take over your market share, dude, that says something about you, brother. That ain't on them,
That's exactly right.
So it's like, man, we have to have this confidence of this is where we are. And it comes down to those daily practices, man. I know that if somebody tries to do what I do, they're not going to do it as good as I am. Good luck. Try me, for real. And I know that sounds arrogant, but the same thing for you, man. If someone tries to open up a storage unit and tries to do, know that you're going to be out there, rain or shine, hurricane or snowstorm. Most people on this earth are not going to do that. They're not.
There have been 4 other. We own a storage facility. There have been 4 other boat and RV storage facilities that's popped up all around me because they've seen the success that we've had.
Yeah.
Every one of them I've reached out to. Every one of I embrace it. I lean into it. Say, if you want to come into this market, that's fine. Let's talk about how you're pricing, because there's no need to come undercut everybody.
Don't be that guy.
We've set this. Yeah, we've said there's no look. I got a waiting list. Okay, you're if you think that you're going to take up my business, that's not happening. What I'm telling you is, you come into our market, you need to be equal to us, and here's the things that you need to do, and these are some of the things these are some of the softwares you need to use. This is the insurance company you need to, because listen, these are the things that are going to help you out. So
yeah, well,
so I embrace those things.
Yeah, and absolutely. And look at us too. I was just an hour down the road from you. You know what I mean? Yeah. And dude, so many detailers, bro, they have this mentality of if I'm growing, no one else can grow, or there's 2 companies growing at the same time. So it's we have to be competitors. And dude, I get it. I love competition. I love making money. But dude, at the end of the day, it's bro, there's so many boats and cars out there. You and I and 15 other storage lots and detailing companies could not even do them all. So what the hell are we fighting for? You know what I mean?
Drake, we were detailing the same boat at the same time, Drake. Literally, your guys were down at a boat, and my guys were down at the same boat,
right next to each other.
This is So,
and I remember that was at Barber Marina, and I remember your guys were having some trouble sanding, and I even went over there. I was like, hey man, try this grit, and they did it, and it ended up working. I'm like, good man, go for it, Yeah, and dude, that's the community that I'm trying to build, and I know you are too with your DetailBookie podcast and stuff. And it's guys, let's stop the freaking fighting and the bickering. And it's dude, let's grow together as an industry.
We're not going to do that. We're not going to argue with you. We're not going to fight with you. We're going to embrace it. And, and we want people that are like-minded that's just going to build together. We have no problem with competition. We embrace that and love to have those conversations.
Yeah, well, and you're not insecure. You know your company's powerful. You're going somewhere. You're not people that stress about people stealing my customers. They're just highly insecure people, and that's because they can't even make promises to themselves. And quite frankly, most of those guys, bro, that are stressed out all the time about people stealing their stuff, it's because honestly they got somewhat successful pretty much on accident. If you know the system and you are purposeful and you're going somewhere, you're not worried about that, because you're going somewhere and you created it. You didn't just somehow get here on accident.
Right. You didn't land here. That's right.
Yeah, man. Well, hey, I know we're about out of time. How can people find more of your content? How do people find DetailBookie if they want to find that? Go ahead and share.
Sure. Yeah. So EZN DetailBookie can all be found on any of the social media platforms just by Googling EZN or DetailBookie, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, any and all of them. Websites are EZNDetail.com or DetailBookie.com. So pretty easy to find us, just like everybody else. Just go on to Google and type us in.
Yeah. And guys, you know, Justin and DetailBookie, this is not a paid thing at all. He did not pay me a single penny for this. So I believe in him. Obviously, I believe in the product. I'm actually setting up DetailBookie on my personal detailing company now. You know, and we've been working together over the years, man, and their CRM system is amazing, and just their scheduling software, texting, you know, everything, guys. So look, I've even told Dustin, I mean, dude, you could say, I've even said, bro, why is it so damn cheap? Like, I don't, like, why are you only, why is it only $50 a month? Like, where's the catch? And there is not. It's just, man, you're out there trying to help people, trying to get detailers. The amount of service that you guys have is just unreal. So.
Well, and that's with everything that we do. I want it to be affordable. I want you to be able to come in and this not to be taking food off of your table. I want you, you know, there's power in numbers, and the more that we get on this system, the money thing always works itself out. I'm not concerned about that. What I want to do is build something great that everybody can be proud of, and that's what we're all about. And I appreciate the kind words about it too, by the way.
Yeah, man, absolutely. Guys, thank you so much for sticking around and listening to the full podcast. I hope that you guys got a crazy amount of value out of today, and I know that you did, because I did. I even learned something new today. So guys, please, if you're on YouTube, go ahead, subscribe, comment down below at least one thing that you learned today. If you're on the podcast, please just leave us a rating. And like always, guys, please share this episode. We don't charge you for this information. This is valuable information. We give it to you all for free. The only thing we ask for payment is that you at least share it with at least one other detailer in the industry. With all that said, guys, thank you so much for sticking around. We hope you enjoyed it, and we will see you on the next episode. Let's go.